I am vice chair of the board at Mercer County Community College, and I'm very happy to be here and really very excited. I guess I'll be a commercial for Foundation for Excellence, and you didn't even have to pay for the commercial. But I have to really give a certain amount of credit to Sam Stewart, who is a member of our Board of Trustees. I chair the Operations Committee, and Sam's on my committee. And Sam came in, what about student success? What about retention? What about? And they were good questions, but as a trustee, kind of in that place where, okay, so what do we do with this? Or how do we get into this? And of course, we don't want to be walking behind people, micromanaging and so forth. Our president, Pat Donohue, is very patient with us, but had said we've got a plan to work on this, and Foundations was introduced. Dr. Generals, our vice president for academics, came and talked to us after, I guess, the first cohort of surveys and information came in, having surveyed the students and staff and faculty about the student experience. And I was like, just truly, truly, truly impressed at the range of responses that data opens up possibilities for. We immediately said, even though this was just a very beginning stage, we wanted to share it at a full board meeting to really help all of the trustees understand the questions that were being asked. It gives us a certain level of comfort and confidence when we know the questions are being asked. That's not to say that drilling down and figuring out what the answers are is going to be an easy process. But when you know at least folks are looking at this, the idea that we had information that dealt with perceptions and an opportunity to look to see the extent to which those perceptions matched actual experience was very important. I was very excited to find that the data put us in a position to really look at different segments of the population, be it the student population or the faculty who were interacting with those students in terms of how they saw what was happening. And so you can see wherein, as some folks thought certain things were happening and some folks thought the exact opposite was happening, that it becomes very curious, at least, if not confusing, for policymakers at another level to figure out how to move with that. So I find that this experience that we're just embarking upon is going to be very important for us as a board of trustees. One, in terms of our basic fiduciary responsibility, in terms of holding the institution accountable. We are responsible for the priorities and the vision. We put a lot on our CEO's shoulders, but having an opportunity to look at it and get some feedback in terms of what's happening on a number of different issues, particularly relative to the success of our students. And then the fact that we've been engaged in a process of planning. We do strategic planning and master planning and all other kinds, or the college does. This process is going to help to either affirm or to help to, how would you say, recalibrate as we find the data and the drill down relative to that data, either helping us to move forward in terms of that planning process. As Reverend Coleman, I always stop and have to, sorry. At any rate, come on in. But at any rate, the issue that this is a data-driven process, that it does help us as a board of trustees in both the setting of priorities as well as holding folks accountable. The fact that it is indeed a great opportunity for us to get answers to questions, then we're a board that likes to ask questions without getting down into the weeds and getting in the way of the administration and the staff in terms of doing the great work that they do, but at the same time knowing that they will be able to report out, put together a set of indicators, and then to put together a plan to help move our college to where we want it to be. So I'm very excited about it. Looking forward to next steps.
I'm probably going to repeat some of the things John started with. I did not have to go to Ireland to meet John Gardner. I met him at an ordinary community college meeting where we found very quickly that we were concerned about the same issues, and John had some solutions that would help. One of the first things that I want to be sure everybody understands, Foundations of Excellence is different than most of the projects we start because the faculty and the staff involved actually own this. It's not something we're feeding to them. They're doing the work. They're asking the questions, and that is hugely important. It takes away things like if I go and ask for one report, or Dr. Generals does, they immediately go, well, whatever that report says, it's only bad because it's out of context. You don't understand the rest of it. But in this process, they own it, and if they think there's another piece to explain it, it's up to them to go get the other piece to explain it. So it really is there. I want to tell you that the board commitment really helps to carry the day with the faculty. I truly appreciate the very professional board that I have and the concern that they have for the outcomes and what we're doing, and it carries weight with the faculty and staff that this isn't just something I dreamed up or Dr. Generals, but something that is important to the board as well, that this is in some ways the next step from assessment from the accreditors, but it is about learning outcomes and a very important piece. FOE has been an incredibly important way to get people's attention about supporting our new students. And certainly John Gardner has added that to the vocabulary of what's going on. Frankly, most of our faculty and even a number of student services people over the years have pretty much absolved themselves of the need to do that. There are a few people over there in orientation and maybe even teaching the student success course, because we do have one, and everybody else thought it was their job over there, not mine. And Foundations of Excellence clearly makes it everybody's job, everybody's issue to engage in. We have always had a lot of faculty who really believed their job was to help students learn, but we have also had a group over the years with the sort of Ivy League philosophy of the students get it or they don't get it. I can't change whether the student does their work. And clearly, FOE is designed to say faculty can't just walk in and say either the students get it or they don't, that we clearly have a role in helping them figure out how to be good students so they can get it. One of the really important things that happens with FOE is changing the language. Changing the language so you talk about those successes, so you talk about the strategies, changing policies sometimes, changing the way we think about this. And it's a group think process. It's not an individual thing. As John Gardner may or may not have told you, I'm one of the very few presidents who actually went to North Carolina for the kickoff. And I went because I wanted everybody to know this was really important to me, and because I wanted to be part of the language and thinking so that every time we have this discussion, they get the same things reinforced because I'm in the process. Now, don't anybody think I'm running it. Dr. Generals is running it. I have a few other things. My board has a few other priorities besides this one included, but it was very important to make sure that people understand this is not a whim, it's not going away, the board's behind it, the president knows what they're doing and is invested in what they're doing. probably before I got here, John talked about defining the first year as the first 30 credits. If he didn't, whether it's the fourth year before they get to it or the first year they come to us, the first time they take a science course is still their first experience with science. The first time they do a major research paper, it's still their first experience with research papers. And when our students are patching together one course and two courses at a time, they still are new students many semesters into that process. Most of the time when our folks talk about retention, they think about semester to semester after they absolve themselves of the need to worry about it. And when we started our Big Ideas project, Casey Craybill was giving one of the summaries of what the issues were and why we were coming up with the committees we were. And she said at that time, not related to FOE, but it fits and I always use it this way and always give Casey credit for it. Whether a student planned to take 2 semesters or only came for 1 semester, I don't know of any students who came here to sign up for a class that didn't intend to finish it. All of our students intend to finish that class they sign up for. And FOE in this process is part of us owning how do we help them find the way to finish that class. So I'm going to sum up here with something I'm sure John said more than once because it's a key to this. We're all working on the completion agenda. We got White House summits. We got President Obama saying everything. We all know completion is important, and we cannot increase completion if we can't get them started successfully. That's what FOE is about. How do we help our students be successful learners? And if we can get them learning successfully, we can get them anywhere they want to go.